right, and here we go. What's going to come on first? Are we going to get Twitch or YouTube? All right, looks like Twitch is coming up. All right. It's Friday. All right, Jason, nice to see you, buddy. Hello. I see Twitch is working now. That is beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you, thank you. All right, now we just need confirmation on YouTube, and we are set. And, of course, there is my buddy No ID. I love him. I love it. You're always the first one to tell me on YouTube. I really appreciate it. Shizzle, nice to see you. Raptor Claw, hey, buddy. Love it. Wake and bake for No Idea, right? I guess it is, right? Yeah. Cotter, buddy, nice to see you. I love it. This is such a fun crew. Secret Squirrel, nice to see you, buddy. I love that. I cannot get over that handle. That's the absolute best handle, I have to tell you what. Squirrel time. Oh my goodness. That's so funny. We're not even 1 minute into the live stream. I love it. Dee Dee's pulling up a chair. All right. Hey, Brian. Woohoo. Carl, buddy. Nice to see you. All right. Hey, Max. How's it going? Nice to see you, my friend. Love it. All right. Everybody's jumping in. Oh, the notification did pop. Nice. Roscoe. Hey, buddy. Nice to see you. We got some fun stuff getting ready for today. Brian Greenbaum. Howdy, buddy. How's everybody doing today? Let's just give everybody a minute to jump in. Morning to all from Australia, right? Yeah. Seems like I got everything worked out off the bat today. See, that's the thing about Fridays, right? I mess everything up on Thursday, and then Friday I'm a little bit more with it, I suppose, right? Hidden Pain. Good. Nice. Nice to see you. Kent. Chill Nature. I keep putting that all together in my head, and I'm coming up with Chent over and over. Hilarious. Hilarious. Yeah, I guess this is a super late one, right? Last night was, yeah. All right, Dan. Nice to see you, Phil. All right, Johnny. Love it, Catfish Stalker. Where's my phone? I love it. That's a great handle. How many people say that over and over and over in a day, right? Too funny. 980 dab on the Switch, too. You've been up since the last stream, too, Jason. Wow. 980 dabs on the Switch, too. That's a fairly good amount of dabs you got going on there. Did a rascal and slept like a baby. Nice. Nice. That's good. Yeah. You know what? I would imagine... Hey, Carl from Malta. Love it. Love it. I ended on the hill. Nice. Nice. Right? Kent Chill Nature. I don't know why I keep saying that. I don't know. Thank you, by the way, for dropping that comment. You know, kind of going backwards like we were talking about last night, right? Way back into the Wayback Machine. Thanks for dropping that confirmation. I was 100% sure it was you. Yeah. One man's 8 p.m. in the UK. Yes. Perfect timing, right? Shane. Nice. First time in the chat. Thanks for jumping in. I'll tell you what, this crew is the most super kind crew. Everybody is really supportive and lovely to each other. So, you know, jump in the chat, drop what you want to. Everybody's going to make you feel welcome. Nobody will make you feel bad. That's the beauty of what we're doing here. This is, I'm telling you, probably the most kind group of people I've ever actually seen in my life. It's unreal. I love it. Love it so much. Hey, Age, happy hippie hour. Love it. Awesome. Awesome. All right. You know what, guys? Are we 5 minutes in? We're 5 minutes in. We should probably have the first Roscoe, right? I'm going to tell you guys, honestly, I haven't even had one hoot yet today. This is going to be my first bowl of the day. I did this once before on a Friday live stream where I was running around like a chicken with my head cut off kind of all day and didn't sit and have a sesh at all yet. So this first bowl, I expect is going to hit me really hard. And that's kind of the fun of it too, right? I'm going to use... today I have... we're going to talk at a point about Taroma 360 dabs and what that looks like now for those of you who didn't catch yesterday's live stream. Today, instead of using the Taroma 360, this is actually the stainless steel version. This is the Taroma 360. Basically the exact same thing, just stainless steel versus titanium. I decided to pull this one out today. I hit a lot of bowls yesterday, right? Definitely we all did. We all went for it like we meant it. Hey, Aaron, nice to see you, buddy. I smell fear on you. No. I typically do my days fucked up. I'm just going to say it straight up. I'm normally pretty high most of the time. That's kind of part of my balance. Today, I just didn't even have time to stop for a second. Otherwise, I would have. That is definitely part of the criteria. I normally start my day. I get a number of tasks done and out of the way. If I have to drive somewhere, I get that knocked off out of the way. And then I'm typically in right away. So for it to be 3 o'clock my time right now and to have not had a bowl, this is like, I'm about 3 hours late. I'm kind of like a nooner kind of guy for the first bowl. Right? It's about noon is when I get to the point where I'm like, yeah, I can do that now. All right, let's get the first Roscoe in. I am absolutely ready. I'm running the Taroma 360 at 480 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm preheating the bowl. So this is just going to absolutely slap, and it's going to throw a ton of really thick vapor super fast, and that's the goal. And that's we'll get right into it, right? We got Friday night energy. Hey, Monique, nice to see you, my friend. Let's go. Cheers. Yep. That's what I was talking about. That's a bowl to kick it off with right there. One and done. I got to turn that down. Yeah, I definitely need to turn that down a little bit. Wow. I guess the stainless steel, I thought I normally ran it here. Oh, I know why. I put... in this bowl, I don't know if I can show you guys, there are 3 terp pearls sandwiched in between 2 screens there. So when I heat the bowl like this, it actually puts a lot of heat below the flour, and I think that's why I ran a little hot that time. Let me turn this down just a touch. All right, we're good to go. All right. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. All right, so I see Jason's keeping count, so that's 1. I love it. Hey, Darren, nice to see you, buddy. Oh, hot vape. All right, well, thank you for sending the good vibes, and all right, put your kids to bed. You know what? We're going to be session for a little while if you want to jump back in. We're going to be a good couple of hours really giving her here. So, why not, right? Little squirrel balls. First bowl hit nice. Love it. All right, so let's get into, let's set the intention. First and foremost, definitely I want everybody to learn at least one thing today. Everybody to feel a little more connected to themselves, to the plant, and to each other. That is definitely the desire for every single live stream, honestly. I think about that when I'm creating content ideas, right? Because, I mean, here's what I'm learning about this live streaming thing, though. Okay. All right, I guess I don't need to worry about that. Mrs. TTB's got it. Cool. And I just lost my whole train of thought. Oh, yeah. When I'm thinking about content ideas, I know education is absolutely paramount, right? I want that at the forefront because, I mean, we should all learn something. If we have all this intelligence and experience together, why not learn something from one another? I think every time you step into a situation where you have a group of people with knowledge, if you can walk away with one piece of information, you're winning. So that's always in the forefront of what I'm thinking about. But I'm also... considering I can just kind of put something out there, right? I can say, hey, let's talk about this, say a few sentences about it, and then just kind of open up the chat, and, you know, it kind of just goes where it goes beyond that. And I love that because it turns out, and from looking at the live streams after the fact, we always end up right where it's supposed to go, which is super cool. So, yeah, I look forward to that very much. All right, we got the Roscoe count on both sides. So we have Jason on Twitch, and we've got Age doing it on YouTube right now. If you need to hand it off for whatever reason, just let us know and somebody else can pick it up. That's cool. We'll just see what happens, right? We got number 1 out of the way. So you know what I think that means? We should have number 2, and then we'll get into the live stream, right? Hey, Fabio, nice to see you, buddy. Nice to see you, my friend. Let's get number 2 in right away. That's what I'm thinking. That sets the tone, right? This is because I haven't already had a bowl before this point in the day, right? So now I'm ready to have a couple back to back. I am not going to preheat the bowl. I'll just run a nice convection rip here. Cheers. Yeah, that's so nice. Such a... that was super flavorful too. Wow. Love it. I'm going to go through a lot of flour today. I have a feeling. All right. Yeah, no doubt. No doubt feeding the squirrels. You guys are awesome. I love that we have these inside jokes going on too. That's so cool. Okay. Hey, Born, nice to see ya. Thank you, yeah. All right. Reefer Madness. Okay, I finally got it. I am a lurker. That's a great comment to make on Twitch. You know what? Lurk away, buddy. Yeah, lurk away. Just sit, enjoy the ride, right? Not everybody needs to participate. If you're not somebody who likes to participate in the chat, I say don't participate in the chat. Just participate in the fun anyway, right? Or in the education, whatever part works for somebody, take that part, leave the rest behind. Nobody at any point needs to feel pressured to do anything on this live stream. You know, maybe have a good time, but that's also just all up to you, isn't it? All right. So tonight, here's what I want to talk about. I thought what I would do is I took 25 of the top eRig terminology, things that we hear constantly in the industry, right? Like when you're moving around videos and stuff, you just hear constant this term, that term about eRigs. So I took the top 25. I made a list of them, and I thought, you know what, let's go over the top 25. I'll give you kind of a live demonstration of what each thing is. I know UK Medical is bringing concentrates online, and that, you know, it's starting to open up. So eRigs are likely going to become a lot more popular throughout Europe, right? I think a lot of people are going to start moving into that territory a little bit more than maybe are right now, and that's certainly based on what I've seen here in Canada as legalization happened. Of course, there were concentrates around when the gray market, you know, in the gray market before it was legal, and also in the black market. But, you know, as legalization happened, more and more labs started making all these different concentrates. So next thing you know, I mean, everybody has multiple eRigs now. It's kind of like, it's almost like dry herb vapes now here in Canada. And I know that's coming for you guys too, right? It's just where you are in the process. So I figured we'd talk about that. We go over those top 25 terms. Oh yeah, I brought out some manual ball vapes. I brought out the Tempest 2, the Stunner, the Joystick, and the Hyperdyne with the Hypercap. And I thought, you know, not really necessarily to talk necessarily about the devices themselves, right? Like not to deep dive the devices, but there's a trend that's happening, and I thought we could talk about that while experiencing some of the devices. We could share some tips and tricks if we have any, things like that, right? Just kind of have those rolling around. Thought we could talk about some lovely few squirrel facts, of course. And I thought we could play a little trivia tonight. I have a little more complicated questions I'm going to throw out there, and we're going to see what happens. So that's what I'm thinking we're going to run through for today's live stream. And if I get to half of that, great. If I get to all of it, great. And if, you know, we segue immediately into a million different conversations and we all have a good time, that's cool too. So I'm just letting you know kind of what my trajectory is in the very beginning here, right? Nice. You know what? Where's my phone? But only I'm okay. You know what? I was definitely for a very long time. I think once legalization happened, it's funny. Before legalization happened, there were a fairly good amount of concentrates, beyond hash floating around. I think because there was so much medical being produced out of Canada at the time. So, I kind of got into it at that point in time, but as soon as it legalized, I kind of fell off of it and I didn't do it for a long time. But I'm kind of finding my way back to it working in to be a specific session, right? And I don't think concentrates. I don't think they should replace dry herb, honestly, for most people. I think, there's a lot of benefits to both. So, yeah, interesting stuff, right? Yeah, see, right? Like everybody's had these different experiences too, right? As long as we get stoned, no idea. I love it. That's exactly right. As long as we got a smile, right? We get stoned, we got a smile. Life is good. Life is good. Um, Yeah, it's an interesting thing. I think you guys are going to see it in a lot of places throughout Europe. You're going to start to see it over the next probably year to 2 years. You're going to start to see a lot more of it in a lot more places than you expect. Once it starts, it just kind of goes moves really quick. That's what I saw with legalization here. And I expect it's going to kind of follow the same trajectory, right? I mean, America's a little bit different because they're half legal or a third legal and two-thirds not legal, and the rules are changing all the time. But I mean, that market's going to open up very quickly too. So I think these are all relative, or not relative. I don't know. I think it makes sense to talk about it. That's I'm not getting the right word. Meat Jack, I'm not sure how to say the rest of it. Thank you very much for that comment. I'm glad you enjoyed the channel. Yeah, I really aim to, help medical users understand, the more we understand about the plant and how to interact with it, the better we feel, right? Especially if you're using it from a medicinal standpoint, for sure. No, Thomas, thank you so much. You're so kind. You know what? I think I draw a lot of inspiration from the community itself and how people interact in the community, and there's a whole energy, right? There's a whole energy, and that's really what I draw from, and it doesn't really come from inside. I kind of pull it from outside, and then it kind of motivates me to keep moving. Sometimes it's pretty cool how it all works. Yeah, illegal concentrates, that's something definitely stay away from. Thank you so much. That's a great point. Stay away from it. If you're not sure, right? When I'm talking about prior to legalization here in Canada, what I actually was experiencing was there were people working at labs that were making concentrates that were going to the medicinal market, right? Straight to the medicinal market. So these are all high quality lab concentrates. And every now and then, I guess they would sneak out of the lab and somehow, they would end up somewhere around, right? That's just kind of how that stuff happens sometimes, but definitely not if somebody's making like small batches of concentrates themselves. No way, Jose. Pass on that, thanks. That's a great point. And vape carts too, homemade vape carts. Stay away from those because you don't know what's in it, right? Definitely. Um, yeah. So these are the things we've learned along the way, right? You know what, Cotter? Thanks for that comment. I feel like I have actually changed how I feel about showing up in the space since starting the live streams. That's a cool observation. I didn't know that it was obvious. Thank you, though. You know what happened? I really did. I felt for a very long time like I knew I was doing some things that were really helping some people and positive, but I felt a bit like an island, right? Because I mean, I'm the independent guy in the space. You know, I don't have a lot of crossover with anybody else in the space. Just kind of doing my thing and being in my own lane, and, you know, doing my best for the community and to help everybody that I can along the way, because that's just who I am. But there were moments, I'm not gonna lie, I got a little bit lonely along the path, right? Because, I mean, working really hard, and, you know, people support me by buying the product, which I'm so grateful for. But there's still, you know, there was a level of disconnect, and now that I'm live streaming, that disconnect went away. It went away, and I feel energized. I feel revitalized. And that's what I mean. The community has done that for me. So super cool. Super cool. Son of Keith, that's hilarious. I've learned not to trust squirrels with my nuts. You know what? Truer words could not be spoken. I love it. I love it. You guys are awesome. BK, nice to see you. Yo, yo. Love it. This is so awesome. All right, so it's probably Roscoe time. Let's do that. It's Roscoe time. I'm going to hit this Taroma 360 again. Those last two hit really hard, actually. Love it for a Friday. That's what we want to do, right? Sweet, that's awesome, Cotter. I think probably a few of us have looked for a space where we could just show up and put down the rest of the world and just play and have fun. And, you know, sometimes we want to behave in a way that isn't always about responsibility and the seriousness of life, right? Just put it down for an hour or two, rip some bowls, share some laughs, and some good times together. Yeah, love it. Cheers. All right, let's you know what? I wanted to start, before we go any deeper, let's just take a moment. You know how sometimes at a holiday or something, right, your family may sit around and talk about something that they're grateful for? I thought maybe what we could do before we jump into the eRig conversation is maybe just share one thing if you're comfortable. If you're not comfortable, that's cool too. You can, you know, we're all allowed to have private feelings. But I thought if we could share one thing in the chat that just is a thing that we appreciate about the plant itself, right? And it can be any which way you want it to be. Like, it can be, you know, the vibe that the plant brings to the world, how it affects you, whatever it might be. But I just thought if we took a second and maybe just thought about, you know, this plant that we all are swooning around, I guess, right? I mean, we all love this plant for a million different ways, but I just thought if we shared one moment of gratitude, it might be an interesting thing. Hey, JP, no joke. I literally just thought, I haven't seen JP yet. And then there you were. No joke. No joke. That's so funny. The flavors. All right, JP, you missed what I just said, so I'm going to bring you in right away. What we're talking about here is just spending a moment to come up with one thing that we feel grateful toward the plant for, and maybe to share it. If you're comfortable to share it, all right, mellows me out. Makes my gas smell only. Love the aroma. Oh, Doc, thank you. Lines up my energy. Helps me every day. I love it, Connor. I know, right? Where was JP? Oh, too funny. Oh, you showered for us, JP? Thanks. We appreciate that. All right. West, I can't come up with the rest. Cool. I'm glad that helped. Awesome. I think what I'm, if I'm going to be, you know, really just kind of personal about what I'm really grateful for the plant for, I think for me personally, interacting with the plant allows me to find a different level of balance within myself than I can find without it. I feel like I operate better as a human being when I'm interacting with the plant because I find a better version of myself, a calmer, slowed down version that I can manage a little bit better. Sometimes without the plant, I can get a little bit fast moving in my head and it becomes unproductive. And the plant really helps me balance that out so that I can sort of choose which way I'm going to go. If I want to be a little more active, I can select a strain that brings that out a little bit more, or I can slow it down a little bit. And I'm so grateful for that. I don't know what my life would have become if I wasn't able to do that. So that's my selfish gratitude. But this plant has affected every part of my life to the point that I'm sitting here and doing this with you guys. So, I mean, I am so grateful for the fact that this plant has lovingly integrated through my entire life. Yeah, it's changed everything for me. I can't soon. You know what? I wonder. Right? Yeah, fair. Yeah, I think weed helps a lot of people get things done. I really do. I think it really helps from that. But I was going to say, Kitsune, I think a lot of people on Thursday night, probably much like by the end of this live stream too, are just crackerjacked, right? Like, just like, whoa. I know I am so done by the end of live stream because, I mean, I sesh. I definitely love having my sessions, but, I don't hit this many bowls in this short of a period ever unless I'm on a live stream, which is, it's fun though, right? It's fun. You know what? Speaking of which, let's hit one more, right? Let's have a Roscoe for JP showing up. Right, Roscoe for JP? It's probably time for that anyway. Let's go, buddy. Yeah, that's cool, Age. That's a cool comment. Being able to make so many different kinds of medicine with it. Yeah, true, right? All right, Jason, you got us. Max got us. Right on. I got the sleep high already. Love it. Yeah, mental health. It's a big one, right? All right, cheers, my friends. All right, yeah. I think a lot of people have manufactured a lifestyle that allows for more time with the plant, right? I think a lot of people who really need it find the way that it works out that way, which is super interesting too, right? Nice. Seizure meds. Yeah, like what an unbelievable plant from every level, right? Like from chilling you out on the couch while you're watching, the latest Star Wars movie or something to this unbelievable medicine that's helping people who have seizure disorders and things like that, right? Living normal lives, doing productive things and being the best version of themselves. Love it. Yeah, it's wild. I also think the world is kind of built for a specific kind of person, right? Like, and if you're not that exact specific kind of person, it can create some discomfort in places, right? And I think that the plant might be an equalizer for a lot of us that don't necessarily march to the exact same beat as everybody else. I think the plant helps us, be the version of ourselves or be okay with the version of ourselves that doesn't always match every other thing. Ah. Case Price. Yes, I am planning a video with the JC Vap crown. As a matter of fact, that's a great question. Thank you for asking that. I was speaking or I was emailing with JC Vap just the other day, and they sent me tracking. They sent me the prototype bowl that they made to go with the crown. Actually, they actually are sending me one of the prototype bowls so that we could talk about it on the channel. I was like, I felt so honored, right? That's such a cool thing. So I'm really excited about bringing that out and showing it to you guys and seeing how the bowl and the crown all fits together. And because what a fabulous system, especially with something like the YLL Vape induction heater, right? Where you can heat it, but you can do it with a torch too. But the induction heater, 30-second heat up, and you're getting great rips and such good flavor for sure. I'm looking forward to that. It might even be next Friday. I can bring that out. It just depends when it shows up exactly. Hey, Daisy Flowers. Nice of you to jump in on Twitch there. Yeah, I'm super excited about that JC Vap crown. Definitely that thing, I think a lot of people are gonna be really happy about that because it's such a inexpensive item that gives you a manual ball vape experience. It's not gonna be the same as, ripping something like this, obviously, but when you're talking about a manual ball vape experience, it's a super cool one without spending a pile of money. For sure, for sure. I did show it last week. Yeah, the crown, yeah. Yeah, but it's, like I said, the kit that you see on the JC Vap store now, that's on the way. So I'll be able to show it to you guys up close and personal. If you have questions about it or whatever, we can do that live too. So that's super exciting. I know the YLL vape, and Tempest 2, that is a hard combination to beat. It is a nice combo. Hey, Paulo. Nice to see you, buddy. I didn't see you jump in. Oh, I see you there. Yep. All right, you only got a few minutes, but thanks for jumping in. I appreciate it. You know what? While you're here, I know you said you only have a few minutes, so I'm going to just jump onto this because I wanted to show you this specifically, actually, because this is something we actually talked about. So I've been working on, I showed this last night, but I've been working on a new injector formula that's kind of a hybrid, and I'm going to use it here in a second. But what I did is I mixed 2 ruby and 2 silicon carbide beads in together, and I did it so that you can shuffle them around and change the location of them if you want to, right, just by giving it a little shake. But this was something, this was a conversation that was sort of happening. So hello, my friend. Nice of you to jump in. Yeah, so I just thought I'd show you that, Paulo, before you had to jump out. So you know what, why don't we use it right now, as a matter of fact. Let's go. Let's have another Roscoe, and I'll use this prototype. I'm gonna have a bunch of new stuff hit the store before September. I'm a little behind on doing it, but we're gonna get a few new things in the store. This new locked pearl, I think this is the final formula. So all I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna heat the glass to get it orange. Where the flame's hitting it, I want it to go orange, and then I can start to draw on it. Hey, Kim. And you can just get right into it super fast that way, just by throwing the flame up and over and pulling some of the heat down as well as heating the side. This hybrid heating method, it's getting really big results really, really fast. It's like a on-demand super heavy hitter concept. You know what, Jason? I have to look at the Moab again. I don't have that particular kit, so I have to look at it. You know what? Shoot me an email and just remind me, and I'll definitely take a look at it. We'll figure that out together. So anyway, that's I wanted you guys to see that. So this is definitely more of a heavy hitter, right? Like a heavy hitter. Once I get the timing figured out perfectly with it, I'm going to put together different combinations of beads and stuff too, which is going to make it fun. Yeah, that one just hit me harder than the Taroma, or the Staroma, actually. It's crazy how the locked pearl hits different, guys. I'm telling you. I don't even know how to explain it exactly, but it just does. It does. Yeah, you have a little mishap with your torch. It can make you nervous afterwards, for sure. Oh, aren't you funny, JP? Yeah, okay. We could probably do something like that. We could probably figure that out when the time comes. Sure. It's a good idea. All right. How do the pearls get locked in? That's a cool question. Okay, so basically when I start with this, what I have is I just have a male joint, and then this is just a straight tube. And then I take and I heat the tube up and I put this pinch in it, right where you can see, can I get it on the camera there? There's a pinch right here, still hot, that these balls are sitting on. So I heat this up with a torch and I use a tool, and once I get the glass to exactly the right heat, then I just kind of push that in gently, and then I put the balls in from the top, and then I close that top up with a flame, right? And I just rotate this so that then everything is just locked in and nothing can fall out, and you can move it around. And then once I've done that with it, I take and I put it in a kiln, and I put it through a process that's called annealing. And what it does is it bakes out any of the imperfections in the glass so that it makes it compatible with being heated over and over and over, and it won't weaken the glass because you've already purified the glass through this heating process. And it basically takes it up over 1,000 degrees, you know, and the process, I move it through 4 different temperatures before then it's allowed to gradually come back down to room temperature slowly. And the process to anneal one of these pieces takes about 5 hours in the kiln. So yeah, that's basically, you know, how the pearls get locked in there and what the process is. Once I get to a certain point, I'll actually make one of these on camera and I'll show you guys. I just have to get my shop set up for that, but I definitely can do that, and I'll show you guys actually in a video exactly how I make them. Yeah, it's pretty fun. These nuts. Yeah, it's a cool process. I love playing around with stuff like that because you just never know what the outcome is going to be until you try it, right? Yeah, I'm definitely gonna like probably do a GoPro while I'm doing the glass work for you guys to see it that way. Yeah, then definitely I can do the same thing, right? Well, I can kind of go through making a tabletop bong start to finish, and then maybe just speed the whole thing up, right? And yeah, something like that. I've been thinking about it. Trust me, I've been considering how I'll do all of this stuff. I'm really looking forward to creating some interesting and different kinds of content in the future as well. Yeah, cool. Thanks, buddy. Yeah, it's all pretty interesting stuff, right? And it's been an interesting process for me as well, because I didn't really know how to do very many of these things before I started this journey, right? I learned what I need to learn to do the things that I decide I want to be able to do, right? I just go ahead and I figure it out, I learn it, and then I can do it, and then I put it into whatever practice I want to do. But it's really taken me down a lot of rabbit holes, and it's been a fun ride, that's for sure. My grandfather was part squirrel, I think. Love it. Okay, squirrel facts. I have some. Let's go. Let's talk about a squirrel fact. All right. Gray squirrels have been observed chasing away crows, ravens, and even young raccoons when defending food or a nest. They're surprisingly fearless. All right, there you go. We know squirrels are surprisingly fearless, right? Because I mean they got a whole bunch of amazing things going on. But I mean, and I've seen it myself. And I bet you a lot of you guys have seen it too, right? Where you see like a bird and a squirrel, right? They're kind of both going for the same food, and that squirrel does not back down. It's pretty cool to watch that. I didn't know about that they would even chase away young raccoons and stuff. I think that's pretty fearless for sure. Raccoons can be pretty nasty little creatures. Yeah. Moo said, "Happy Friday, stoners." That's a nice thing. Happy Friday to you too, my friend. All right. So that was a squirrel fact. All right, let's do one more. A sort of squirrel. Hawks rely mainly on eyesight during the day. Owls often hunt squirrels at dawn, dusk, and night. They use incredible hearing to locate movement. So that's kind of how owls will hunt compared to hawks, right? Hawks, a squirrel can kind of, it's a visual thing. But at night, think about that, owls, right? They just listen for the sound and they're hunting. That's wild. And those poor little squirrels, they don't know what's coming. They're just sitting there eating an acorn, and next thing you know, there's an owl. Yeah. I know, right? Fucking owls. I know, dirty buggers. I need to leave them squirrels alone. Those squirrels are busy doing a whole bunch of things that we're learning about. I love it, catfish. True. Too funny, too funny. All right, let's pull out. I'm going to bring in a couple of eRigs. These are, between these two, I can talk about almost everything I want to talk about. And this one piece, oh no, there's three. Okay. So let's talk about 25 terms that are used surrounding eRigs all the time. So I'm just going to tell you what the term is, I'll tell you what it is, and then I'm just going to show you where on the device it is. The cool thing when it comes to learning about eRigs, the cool thing about it is there's all these terms and you hear all this stuff that can sound a bit overwhelming, especially if you're new to it. But it really all comes down to only a few different things that are actually, kind of in play all the time. And everybody kind of works off of very similar structures. So once you know the few basic things, you can understand almost everything else about an eRig. Okay, so number one, atomizer. You're going to hear atomizer over and over and over when it comes to an eRig. So the definition, the heating assembly that produces the vapor, the engine of the eRig. So this is a Puffco Peak Pro. This piece here, that's the atomizer. So when people are talking about an atomizer, they mean this. Okay? This comes in different forms, but this is what it means. Okay? And this eRig, this is the atomizer. Okay? So that's all there is to actually know about the atomizer. It's this piece here. Right? And people talk about, when they're talking about eRigs, they'll talk about replacing the atomizer. How often do you need to do it? How much is a replacement? This is the part they're talking about, okay? So that part in here, there's different styles, right? This is all in one. This one is a couple of different pieces, which we'll get into in a minute. So that's a simple thing, the atomizer. Okay, the chamber. The chamber is the cup or bucket where concentrate is placed. Inside there. So where you open it up, where you put the dab inside it, that's called the chamber. I'll tell you what, guys. This is a true story about squirrels. This is a true story. Mrs. TTB and I used to have a log cabin that we lived in for a number of years, and there were a lot of wildlife all around. We seen almost everything you could imagine as far as wildlife where we lived at that time. We were sort of further north in Ontario. Yeah, and it was a little bit remote, right? Like it was country living and in a log cabin, and there was a squirrel family that decided to just dig a little hole in my house, right? Because it's a log cabin, and they found a way into the roof. They built their own way into the roof, and they built a nest in there. And I'll tell you what, it was such a challenging situation because I was stuck between. I wanted to give the squirrels the place that they wanted to live. I wanted them to just have it. I'm like, you guys should, like, there's little squirrels in there. You know, I'm like, oh. But I mean, they're damaging my house, right? But that true story, they made a nest in my house. So I ended up having to build kind of a trap that... I built this kind of trap that I installed over the hole that they built so they could climb out with no problem, but they couldn't get back in. So that's what I ended up, right? They can destroy your attic, right? Yeah. Yeah, it's wild. Squirrel squatters. So it seems like I'm not the only one. Hello, JP. Yeah, it looks like I'm not the only one, right? Do I like the new spinner cap? I do like the new spinner cap. Yeah, I do. I much prefer doing this to this. Yeah, for sure. All right, you just spin, draw, stop. Spin, draw, stop. Perfect. This... I mean, it works too, right? It works too, but that's so much easier, and it just moves that air really fast. So yeah, I definitely like it. Definitely like it. Okay. Beautiful. Beautiful. Peddling bricks, I guess. I'm so happy you quit. And as a year, eh? Vaping only. Congrats. Congrats. That's awesome. That's a great... That's a great comment. I love those ones. They always make me so happy. Okay, let's go before I get too far sideways and just play in the chat, because that's I can feel myself already getting pulled into it. Okay, the heater. The element that creates heat and transfers it into the chamber. Okay, so that's what the heater is. The element that creates heat and transfers it into the chamber. So that's going to be built into the device. Here's a fairly easy example. Once I remove the atomizer and chamber, you can see there's contacts here, right, that power the atomizer. Below that is the heater, and it sends the signal up and in. Okay, so it's built into the device. It's not something you can see. All right, the bucket. The insert that holds the concentrate. So inside this atomizer, okay, see where that tert pearl is, that red bead, and it's a ceramic piece inside. Okay, inside here, if you take this apart, it looks like this. So there's a white ceramic bucket. So this is where essentially where you end up dropping the dab into, in here. And that's called the bucket. So it's the piece that's inside your atomizer is your bucket. Okay, insert. An insert is a removable bucket that changes the flavor. It also changes the cleaning and the heat retention. Do I have one? I don't think I have one. Oh, I can use this as an example for sure. So if you took a little quartz dish like this, and this would go inside your atomizer. This then is an insert. It inserts into your atomizer. All right, real big L. Do I plan on testing the Switch Go? I'll tell you what, that's a funny timed question, my friend. I right literally before the live stream today received a box from T-Vape, and they were gracious enough to send me the Switch Go so that we could talk about it here on the channel. So I thought that was really cool. It's actually plugged in and charging right now. So funny timing, because that's exactly what happened right before the live stream. And it was super cool of T-Vape to send that along to me. Actually, I'll tell you guys, I'll just kind of segue for 1 second and then we'll go back to the list. I don't talk a lot about sort of the things behind the scenes or any of that, right? I mean, I have some contact with some people behind the scenes, but not a ton, right? I'm kind of in my own lane. But T-Vape is an interesting one because I don't do affiliate links or I don't do any of that stuff, right? So I don't want to take commission. I want to be doing what I'm doing. And they reached out to me and said, you know, are you missing any eRigs? If you wanted to compare, you know, all the top kind of brands together, are you missing anything? Because if you are and you wanted to do that, we would be happy to send those to you, and it would probably help the community. I was like, yeah, man, that's cool. And I mean, there was a couple that I did need, so I let them know the couple that I was missing, which one of them was the Switch Go, and they said, sure, okay, we'll send that along. And obviously we just want you to offer your honest opinion to the community because we see what's going on and we think it's pretty cool what you're doing. Like, that's pretty cool. I like that, right? So I have, a nice working relationship with them, and they're throwing a little support as far as devices and stuff so we can, keep current, and it's going to allow me to do a really, really nice eRig comparison, at different price points as well, and we can really get into who matches which device and why right across the board. So I thought that was pretty cool. So I just thought I'd share that with you guys. I find they're very quick to support the community. Yeah, I loved it. Yeah, I thought so too, right? I thought good on T-Vape for sure. And that's been my experience all the way along with T-Vape is, and I don't know if it's the Canadian thing or what it is, right? But I know definitely there's no problem in cooperation, and, the way I operate is different than everybody else, right? And that's fair. And most people don't really have a program for the way I operate, right? Because everything is just built off of discount codes and, affiliate money and, sort of basic scripts get talked about, right? And I mean, built on the features, advantages, and benefits of each device. And that all makes sense. I mean, that's a normal business structure. I just don't fall into it. Right. So it makes it awkward, I think. And then I can appreciate that. I can appreciate that I make it awkward by just not doing it the same way as everybody else. But I just try and be respectful to everybody. And, T-Vape's been really respectful in return. So, yeah, I just thought maybe a little shout out for what they're doing would be super cool. Sure, Carl. Yeah, okay. Interesting. Can you show us how to use an analog dab rig? Yeah, we can do that one night for sure. We can do a whole night like that. I have to be careful though. Oh, maybe I should do that on a video. Yeah, doing a pile of dabs on a live stream, I think could be dangerous. Great gosh. We did hit a couple of squirrel things, but you know what? There's a few more still. So, yeah. Yeah, we got a couple more. What we did decide though is we're mad at owls. Squirrels will chase off larger animals, and they're pretty fearless when it comes to it. And owls will hunt them at night, and they hunt by sound, right? Which is rude. It's a dirty trick, and we're mad at owls for that. So that's the quick catch up on the squirrels, where we are so far anyway. I love it. I love it. All right, so let's go. Let's go more eRig terms. Thermal mass. Okay, you hear this all the time. I write, damn those owls. Too funny. Love it. Love it. All right. Thermal mass. This is something we talk about all the time, right? And you know, whether we're going to talk about manual ball vapes, thermal mass is it's a whole thing. So what is it actually? What's the definition of thermal mass? How much heat the chamber can store. More mass equals more stable heat. I was mixing those words up. All right. So more mass equals more stable heat. So, and that's true in ball vapes as well. When you look at ball vapes, you know, a lot of them will build these really big heaters, right? Like take the Coma, for instance. That thing has so much thermal mass, and it's a really, really stable heat source. You know, anybody who's got one and hitting one understands that. Daisy Flowers 420 on Twitch just says, might have to get a squirrel tattoo to compensate for my owl tat. That is such a great comment. Thank you for that. All right. Oh, too funny. Too funny. Okay. Heat soak. This is another term that we hear all the time, right? Allow the chamber to fully absorb heat before taking a draw. That's simply what it means. And if we want to put it in terms of, say, a dryer vaporizer to make it really easy, heat soak is the difference. Say you turn your portable vape on and it buzzes, it's ready to go, and you take a draw and there's no vapor. That's because it hasn't had time to heat soak. And what that means is the chamber, yes, the oven has come up to temperature, but the chamber itself that's holding it is still cold. So we need time for that to get soaked with heat from the oven that's already come up to temperature. So that's what heat soak means. Okay? All right, let's move that one. All right. All right. Now, these next two, I heard it out loud when I was making this list, but we have to do it. We have to do it. Cold load. Loading concentrates before the heating begins. So if I had not yet turned this on and I dropped my dab in, and then I'm going to turn it on, activate it, and heat it up with the dab in there, that would be a cold load. So what do you think a hot load would be? Of course, it's adding the concentrate after the chamber reaches temperature. Of course, right? Too funny. I know. I did. I heard it. I heard it too. And I was putting this list together, and I'm like, am I really going to say hot load on a live stream? And now I've said it twice. You know what that means? It's Roscoe time. Let's have a Roscoe. All right, let's go. Okay. Thank you. All right. Let's do it. All right. Who's this Roscoe for? Let's do this one for Dane _ Little Roscoe. All right. That's who this Roscoe's for. Little Roscoe. All right. Cheers, my friends. That was a big Roscoe for little Roscoe. That's twice I've done that. I need to stop setting it up like that. That's getting to be a pretty big pile of weed already today. Sounds like a rapper name, yeah. Love it. That was a cold load, JP. That was a cold load. Oh my goodness, I absolutely love it. What a riot. What a riot. Okay, let's move on. Carb cap. All right, that's safe. All right, do I have an example of a carb cap? This is an example of a carb cap. Okay, so basically if we look at it, what we have is a hole on the top, right? And so what this basically does is you put this over whatever you need to slow the airflow down on, and it restricts the airflow to improve vaporization. So this one, for instance, goes on top of a banger, a quartz banger. Of course, you want to slow the airflow down so you're not constantly cooling the quartz banger, right? And you can actually build some heat in it, so you put a carb cap on it. Okay, a directional carb cap is it directs the airflow to move the concentrate in the chamber. So if you see, this one actually has a bend in it, so that changes the air direction. So it comes in the top and then it turns. So that will have the concentrate start to move. So that's a directional carb cap. All right, that's, yeah. Freaking big, nice to see you. Thanks for jumping in. Taper guy. I need a Roscoe. Oh, you're watching at work. Oh, you know what? If you're watching at work, let's have a Roscoe for Typer guy who has to watch from work. That's a bummer. But thank you for being here and doing it. So we're going to have a Roscoe for you. Let's do it right now. Yeah. This one's definitely for anybody who has to work still. Let's go. Let's hit another one. Why not? I think I said 2 terms and then we're in for another Roscoe. It's time. That's right. All right. Cheers. You've got good Roscoe energy in the bank for when you get off work and you can have your first one. So much fun. All right. Yeah, that's what I wanted. All right, where are we? Airflow. This is something that people talk about all the time with every kind of device as well, airflow. And that's just simply the path air takes through the device. So does it feel like it's open airflow? Does the path that the air is taking through the device feel open, or does it feel restrictive? So that's when, I know that's a very basic term, but okay, Sons of Keef, I definitely do not have a banger within reach. But I'll tell you what we can do for sure. We can definitely do that on a live stream for sure. We can play around. I'll just bring out some different quartz bangers and we'll play around with them and heat them up. But basically, the simple technique, and it takes a little bit of trial and error, right? Especially if you've never done it before. But you just basically take your torch and heat the bottom of the banger, the bottom of the dish, and then heat will end up traveling up the sides. And you know, you don't really need to get the glass what I would call red hot. So if you see it start to glow at all red, right, then you just take the heat away and give it, say, 15 seconds, 20 seconds, and then drop your dab in. And hopefully you don't burn it without, you know, that's really the most basic way possible. And, you know, depending on the thickness of the banger, the size of the torch, you know, all the timing will be a little bit different. So it's, you know, unless you have an exact one, it's hard to make generalizations. But yeah, just heat it so it gets good and hot. Just heat the very bottom of the dish, right, and then let it kind of calm down and put the dab in, and you'll learn timing. It only takes a couple. If you go way too hot, you know it right away, right? And if you're not hot enough, then you just don't get vaporization. But you can always add heat. You're better off to put a dab in the very beginning and add heat to it so that you know, keep heating, and then you finally get to vaporization. But we'll have to do that one day. Definitely, yeah, definitely need to do that. It's always fun to play around with bangers too, and there's so many different ways to heat them up and different techniques and stuff, right? Definitely could do a whole live stream just talking about simple techniques with bangers. Yeah. Okay. So then restriction, right? So as we just talked about with airflow, then is it open or is it then restricted? And that just means, does it feel, you know, like you're pulling like a milkshake, right? Like through a straw, kind of that sort of feeling, or does it feel really open? So restriction is when it feels like a tight draw versus an open draw. All right. Number 14. Percolator. You probably hear that one a fairly good amount. That is the water filtration system, right, that cools the vapor. So this piece here, that's your percolator. Recycler. This one here, this percolator is a recycler. See this cycle, or this circle? So when I draw on it, water and vapor can travel in circles, right? And it can move around to cool before getting it all. So you can just watch the action. I'm not sure if you'll be able to pick it up. But you can see it's traveling like this. This is a recycler. So what this does is it holds the vapor in this glass and water path a little bit longer than something like this, which is a straight exit. And when you hold it in the glass and the water a little bit longer, you get more cooling, is at least the theory. Not all are built equally, of course, and but what's the compromise for the more cooling is you lose some of the flavor with a recycler compared to straight exit. But yeah, dry top. This is the what is this? Puffco pivot. This is a dry top. Okay, so this is just a glass piece. So basically, it's an idea of a dry bong. So right now, there's no water in this, so this would be a dry top, right? So it's just a no water system. It's like doing dry bongs, yeah. Water top. So then that's, you know, this would also can be also called a water top, right? I just did something here I didn't want to do. Oh man. Bear with me, guys. Okay. I just hit some button accidentally and everything just went where I didn't want it to be. Hey, Plamokin. All right, nice to see you, buddy. Thanks for dropping in to say hi anyway. Chronic Master Vapor. Jumping in too. Nice. Funny, eh? Funny how that happens. You know what? We should have a Roscoe for Plamokin, don't you think? Right? All right, let's do it. Why not? Time to hit this again. You guys ready? Yep, Roscoe time. I'm going to let this one preheat a little bit. Why not? All right, where are we? Okay, session mode. You guys hear the term session mode, right? That's when the heater stays hot for a preset amount of time, right? So session mode, you can set your session for 1 minute, 30 seconds, 2 minutes. It depends on the rig. It depends on what you're doing. But session mode is you preset the time that the heat will run for, and it creates a single session with a single dab. On demand is when the heat is produced only when needed. So you would press and hold a button. It produces heat. As soon as you release, it stops. Let's rip this. Cheers. All right, Flamokin's in for one. Cheers, buddy. Okay. Reclaim. That's something you probably hear a fairly good amount as well. When you use an eRig, the way that they work, the dab goes into this chamber here. This chamber gets heated. When it gets heated, vapor's produced and starts to rise. You draw through the water piece that is sitting on this side, which goes, the airflow goes through this channel. There's a channel for airflow here, and it allows the air to go into this sealed unit up here. So when the vapor's produced, you draw from here and it gets pulled through and up. All right, that's a stoner stoner explanation. Why am I telling you this? Oh yeah. So when you'll end up with a collection, depending on how hard you draw, how big the dab is, you can end up with a collection of concentrate that you pull out of the bucket in vapor, and it ends up collecting in this area down below, and that's called reclaim. You can actually like scoop it out, right? So it's a concentration of concentrate on the device. It's just part of the regular it's just part of the regular process, right? But it's, if you draw on it really hard all the time, you're going to end up having more reclaim than if you draw on it softly. Each device ends up having its own sort of sweet spot for how hard you should draw on it for the best operation. Oh yeah, chazzing. This one I had to work hard for, because if you don't, you have to see it to understand it. So this is a bucket that is used in this device. So see if I can get it. Stoner movements. There it is. See that brown stain down there? That's chazzing. Okay, so what if you get that inside your device, right? If you have a Puffco Peak, if you have that inside here, if you have that staining, it's one of two things typically. You're either scorching because you're just running it way too hot and you're actually scorching the concentrate on the sidewall where the heater is, or you're just not cleaning it properly, right? So I really had to work at not cleaning this that well to use it enough times to like get an example of chazzing. I wanted to use this in a video as well. So yeah, But that's chazzing when you get that brown on the wall inside there. And you can, do a ISO soak with most of them. If you follow the manufacturer's recommended way of doing it, you can normally do an ISO soak with it in some way or another to get rid of that. So it's not permanent, but you have to work at it. Secret squirrel. Why do I cough every time I use Puffco Peak? Are you on the new Peak or are you on the Peak Pro? I guess it doesn't really matter. Typically, if you're coughing a lot, it can come down to a couple of things. It could come down to the type of concentrate, right? Sometimes a certain concentrate will work really well for somebody and not for another person. So if you're, say, hitting live resin all the time because you like the way it tastes, but you're coughing like crazy, maybe it's too terpy for you. Or maybe you're on the wrong temperature with your device. It could be one of those two things. So play around with a couple of different concentrate options. Play around with a couple of different concentrate options, right? And definitely play around with your temperature as well. Sometimes it's surprising how running the temperature, like if I'm having a really bad day where I'm coughing like crazy, if I pick up the Peak Pro, I'm going high temperature, and I don't normally dab on high temperatures, right? I'm anywhere 475 to 510 Fahrenheit. But I might, like kind of run it up to like 535, 540, 550, right? And have a really high temperature dab, and I don't actually cough from it. So I have to play around sometimes to find, where's the sweet spot with the device. Yeah. Oh, for sure. Okay, I'm just reading Age 440's comment. They need to create a setup to vape through with more distance to alleviate coughing. Well, for sure, I agree with that. I think that this is a very small path, and I think what these things have become capable of is unbelievable amounts of vapor production, and we have a very small travel path and a small amount of water to cool that vapor, and we're pulling on it to get these big massive clouds, right? So we need to elongate the air path for sure, or we need to create better water filtration, right? Those are definitely things. But if you look at something like, say, and I was going to mention this to Secret Squirrel, oh yeah, no, go higher in temps. Yeah, perfect. Try the higher. I'm not sure if you're with the new Peak or the Peak Pro. I don't know if you answered that there or not. But if you're on the Peak Pro has the, what's it called now? Is it called the Link? I can't remember. It's the extension that allows you to take the atomizer off and then you attach it to another piece that connects here, and then you put it in your bong. What's it called? And that definitely lets you run through your tabletop bong, right? So there is with Puffco Peak Pro that. But with most of them, there's also a way, if you want to run your water piece dry and use a whip hose and run it into your tabletop bong so that you can get more water filtration. And that can definitely help as well. And I'm going to show that as I go through all the different eRigs. I'm going to show basically, if you want to connect them to water, if I have found a way to do it, I'm going to show how to do it. And they're typically pretty easy little just whip hose tricks, right? Yeah. New Peak Pro. Yeah, okay. Oh, interesting. Okay, Kitsune's asking if I've used a titanium insert on the Switch too. Don't use the quartz anymore. Interesting. When I bought my Switch 2, and I did buy my Switch 2, ordered it with the sapphire insert. And when I got it, I tried one dab with the quartz insert. I took it out. I put the sapphire insert in. I tried one dab with it, and it has remained there. I haven't. I'm not even considering going back to the quartz after using the sapphire. So I would imagine, I can see that the titanium might be an interesting experience too. I should probably grab one of those and try that. That's a pretty easy swap out to experience something different with that same device too. And that thing's a monster. It's a monster device. Yeah. All right. Okay, Q-tipping. Basically, all that means after you have your dab in here, you've closed this up, and you've, did your deal, and it's done. You're at the end of the session. You take a dry Q-tip and you clean it like this. You just clean it out, right? This is Q-tipping. I think that's a pretty basic one, but I mean, not everybody would understand the timing of that, right? So as soon as you're done the dab, while everything is still hot, you can just use a dry Q-tip and you can clean it up pretty good. If, once you get to the end of a session, you can let everything kind of cool down, and then you can Q-tip with a little bit of ISO if you want to do a better cleaning at the very end. But a dry Q-tip, just normal Q-tipping in between, is going to do the job. Sip, don't rip. Okay, this is also one that I think with eRigs, you hear a fairly good amount. Sip, don't rip. And devices like the Peak Pro, they suggest ripping. But I'll tell you what, with most of them, if you take a medium draw, that's a sip, not a super slow draw. Normally you need to, there's a terp pearl inside, which we're going to talk about in a second, but you need to move airflow inside the chamber while you're inhaling. So you need enough airflow. So a medium draw, just a very comfortable inhalation, is a good kind of sipping inhale. Ripping is like when you really, do the big draw. That's not necessarily the best move with an eRig. You can cool it down, right? That's a lot of airflow that can cool the whole thing down very quickly too. Yeah. All right, what else did we have on here? Temp stepping. Like you can with dry herb vaping, you can move through different temperatures while you're moving through a dab, right? And there's all kinds of different ways to do it, but it's basically increasing the temperature as you move through the dab. And now certain app-driven devices, you can just set kind of a curve that you want to happen, and you just automatically have that happen, so it will increase the temperature as you move through the dab. So that's like an automatic form of temp stepping, or you can, just start at, say, 450, 475, 500, right? You can just step up in the temperature literally as it sounds. Terp pearl is that little bead that's down in the bottom of the chamber. Why that is there? When you draw through the device, I'm going to spin this cap. When I spin this, it changes, it moves, it sucks air in through the top of the cap, and then it moves it into the chamber so that it spreads the liquid out that is formed from melting the dab. That terp pearl gets caught in the air and it starts to spin in there, and it deposits the concentrates on the side of the chamber, on the side wall on the inside, where the chasing is, right? And that's the terp pearl spins in there and it keeps depositing in it, but the sides are heated. So that's where you really want things vaporizing off of, is the sides of the bucket, and the terp pearl helps get the concentrate up there. So most new eRigs use a terp pearl, and heated sides versus just the bottom being heated. It's a more efficient system. So, the basic components, right, with your atomizer and your glass, right, you typically have one button. These are all the sort of same common things. You'll have, some kind of topper on your atomizer. This one has a joystick that you manually rotate, and that sends airflow that moves the terp pearl. This one you spin, that sends airflow that moves the terp pearl. So, but they all kind of do the same basic functions. So once you understand one, you can kind of understand what each one, what variation it is of the same kind of idea, right? Hey, Zen Moon. So that's sort of the basics of an eRig. They're all kinds of fun to play around with, and like I was saying, I have a few new ones coming, so or arriving actually. So I'm going to pull those into the live streams, and we'll talk about those. Can you vape the reclaim from a bong? I don't know. I haven't tried. I don't know. I guess if somebody tries, I just kind of feel like that might be nasty. But I don't know. I just never really gave that a go. Ready for a Roscoe, eh? Okay. Are we Roscoeing? I love Roscoeing is a word. I want you to think about that, my friends. That is actually now a normal part of our language, and I absolutely love it. Yes, we're Roscoeing. Oh, I left my bowl full. Rookie move. Rookie move. It's because we've been Roscoeing a fairly good amount. I'm now going to hit the APVS 420. I'm about to hit the forgetful stage. See, I almost forgot what I was saying. Roscoeing. All right, let's go. Cheers. Nothing better than a thunderstorm and a Roscoe. Roscoe-a-thon. Number 9, eh? Huh. That seems okay. Oh, yeah, I like watching lightning and having a session. Yeah, if you have a safe place to sit and watch, storms that come in, that it's safe to be there. And I think that's a really key thing, right? Like sometimes you get these torrential downpours, the rain just comes straight down and there's thunder, and lightning cracking everywhere. And if you can sit in a safe place and watch that outside and sesh, yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. It makes you feel the enormity of nature, I think, in a moment, doesn't it? Right? Tarasco or not Tarasco? It's always Tarasco, isn't it? That's funny. Okay. Let me move these out of the way for a minute. If you guys have any questions on eRigs, throw them out there for sure. We can talk about it happily. But since we're on the topic, I know some people saw this last night, but I know no, what am I doing? Yeah, I'm doing that. But I know not everybody did, so I have to be careful here because I can have dabs. Oh boy. What time is that? I don't know if I can do dabs this early because I wanna like hang out till like, you know, for another half an hour or so, and if I have a couple of dabs now, I'm gonna be pretty close to the end. Yeah, that's yeah. So we'll give that a minute. All right, let's play around with something else. Explain what a Roscoe is. A Roscoe is having a shared sesh, right? So we call for a Roscoe and everybody grabs their, I was going to say, everybody grabs their deal. No, I'm not going to say that. You know, you grab your vape, you load your bowl, and you proceed to have a rip. And, you know, sometimes we dedicate that energy into a specific place. Yeah. Sorry, I got a little distracted there too. Mrs. TTB's on the way out the door there and was saying goodbye, so I was kind of like half, yeah. All right, thanks, Dan. I appreciate that. Do a dab for me. Yeah, I just have to be, careful with that. I mean, because I'm already like blasted. I'm having a hard time keeping focus now. And I know a couple of dabs and I'm going to be unbelievably like just not able to hang on to it. I can feel where I'm at. I'm having such a good time. And I know if I was drinking, this would be the point where I would be like, okay, buddy, if you have that shot, you're going to be sorry. That's how I feel like I'm at right now. But I'm having so much fun and I want to just keep going. So I'm going to just hang on for maybe 10 minutes before I hit a dab. And then and then we're just going to go for it. Right? Because, well, I could talk about it for a minute. Chroma Shop came up with this idea to use these small quartz dishes as an insert for the Taroma 360 bowl. So it's just a small quartz dish. And it sits right in the bowl. Just like this. So what you do is you just load your dab in it. And then you put it in the bowl, in the chamber. And then you put the heater on it. And then you vape it very similarly to what you would do with dry herb. What I find is I'm slowing my drawdown a little bit. And I'm getting really, really amazing results. I'm really enjoying the vaping experience. The trick is making sure that you have the insert set very close to the bottom of the heater inside the Taroma 360. This backwards thing throws me off, right? So you have to have it up high in the bowl. So this is the titanium bowl. You can see how I have the screen set there, how high I have it set. So it literally just drops right in, right at the top. And that's exactly how I'm using it. I'm actually loving the titanium bowl. for the dab experience with the Taroma 360 or the Staroma 360. But I'll tell you what, this is, after using this thing for I guess 4 or 5 nights, you know, I've had a couple of dabs with it every day since I got it, and I'm blown away by how the experience works with a ball vape with this quartz dish. Just sticking it in the chamber, I'm actually blown away. I'm like, is it really this simple? Right? I mean, it's a properly fitted insert, right? Like, I'll show you again how well fit that is. Right? So it fits in there perfectly. There's enough room around the sides of the insert for the concentrate to get pulled down as, you know, you're pulling, and there's enough heat surrounding it with this great big heater that it the whole thing just works. It just works. I am blown away actually by how well it works. Yeah, man. I'll just load it up here. Where's some concentrates that I can grab? You see what's happening, right? I say, yeah, I can't do that right now. Well, I can just talk about it. Well, here, I can just load it up, right? I see what's happening. I'm already walking it to, I'm about to start inhaling this any minute now. That's too funny. So I'm just dropping a dab in that looks like that. So, you know what? I'm still going to give it a minute. But yeah, that's exactly what's going to happen. So then I'm just going to drop it in the, I'm going to preheat. Well, we can do that right now. I'm just going to take it, I'm going to put the bowl in the heater like this. Okay. And then I set it in so that I know that it's safely, you know, not going to move. Right, and preheat that bowl. So then when I drop the insert in, it's already preheated. I can preheat it by putting it up here in my water piece as well, and letting it sit this way before I drop the insert in. This is if I want to get to the vapor the fastest. Right, and what this does is this gives me a cold start with the dish, but everything else is warm. So it comes up to temperature quickly, a couple of draws, and, you know, I'm into really full vapor, but those first 2 draws, it's really that terpy, low temperature release as it climbs up. So it's kind of a heat climb, right? So a temp step, that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. Yeah, this is so cool. If you have a Taroma 360 and you enjoy concentrates, this is such a worthy add-on. Or I can just hit one. I'm just gonna go ahead and have one. What the hell? So you just slip it in. I heard that. And let it start to heat up a little bit. Now, the sooner you start to draw on it, the lower temperature your first draw or 2 is going to taste, right? So the more flavor you're going to get out of it. All right, let's go ahead and I'll just start drawing on it. And you'll see the natural progression of vapor as it gets produced. Cheers. Really, really flavorful. You get a pretty big dabbing experience with this. And then you just use a Q-tip to clean it out at the end. And that's it. That's your dab session right there. If you guys ever drop a comment in the chat and you're like, hey, where did it go? Or why don't I see it? And then it pops up. There's automatic filters built into this, and I don't know exactly what trips what, but like I just had to do it there for a comment. So far, Age. So Age is asking, is there a insert like this for the Ruby Twist? What I can tell you is this is the very first one of its kind that's available. Nobody else has it yet. This was just developed and just released by Taroma Shop as a potential concept, even for how to do this, and creating the very first product that makes this possible with a ball vape. So this is it. I mean, this is what's available right now. It's definitely a cutting edge thing. And I was lucky enough to get mine as testers, so that I could talk to Taroma Shop a little bit about the experience, and it was a pretty cool experience to be able to do that and to have these early, right? So I think they just hit the website literally a couple of days ago. Yeah, so I expect a lot of people are gonna be showing respect for this concept without any question at all. Okay, so once the insert is kind of cooled off, if you have any residue left over, you can just use isopropyl alcohol on a Q-tip and just kind of swab it out. I did it fine with it dry, so I don't really even need to do that at all. It didn't leave any residue behind. So you could see just from that experience right there how easy that was to have a full-on, really nice dabbing experience. Okay, Sam. You're asking basically, where do I find it the most comfortable for vaping, high temperature or low temperature? With most devices, I find high temperature is much more comfortable for me. I have a hard time when it comes to coughing. Low temperatures is definitely more difficult for me. It's select devices that I can get there, and typically those are analog devices. I have a hard time with the digital devices, low temperature vaping. I can crank the temperature up, no problem, and vape away, and I'm not coughing. But as soon as I'm in that low temperature range, say like 395 Fahrenheit or around, 195 Celsius. If I go below that, that's where I'm going to cough more than if I'm above that. That's for sure. Yeah, that's kind of my cutoff point. But that's why bongs are a big part of my life too, right? Because because of that, that's how I can get those lower temperatures, right? Is by using diffusion and water filtration. Too funny. Yeah, right. I attribute and I think you guys have probably heard me on video say I'm quick to cough, and when I say that, I'm not joking. When it comes to low temperatures, I'm typically quite quick to cough. One thing I found, here's one little thing. Um, Okay, you know what, Connor? Just for you, I will definitely, when we're gonna do the, bring out some quartz bangers next time. I'll make sure I got the titty banger in the hot hole. 100%. I'll do that for you. Promise you. I have definitely put that combo together, and I've giggled about it when I put it together for sure. No question about it. Yeah. Uh, Too funny, too funny. You guys crack me up. All right, where are we? Where are we in the live stream? Oh yeah. Oh my goodness. We're just having fun and playing in the chat now. I think that's all we're doing. Uh just pulled the trigger on the Tempest 2. Elevated shots. Nice. Congrats. You're not going to be disappointed. Very few people struggle with that. No, round bottom is a different one. Titty banger is a 24 millimeter quartz banger, but it's a flat bottom, not the round bottom. I know the one you're thinking about, Age. I'll bring them both out at the same time. Those are fun, right? Like, and I think, yeah, titty banger. It's by Evan Shore is the manufacturer, and it's a 24 millimeter quartz banger, like a traditional looking kind of quartz banger. It's 24 millimeters. It's really, really nice quality quartz, and there is an etching of a woman's chest on the bottom, and it is labeled the titty banger. So, yeah, yeah, definitely. But I'll tell you what, it's my definite favorite banger. It's not a cheap one either, right? Like, I mean, in the world of bangers, I mean, it's not overly expensive compared to some, but compared to others, right? Like, you can find pretty inexpensive quartz bangers out there, 24, 25 millimeter quartz bangers. And this one is probably, I think, what did I pay? Maybe 150 Canadian or something for the quartz banger. And I had one and it got broken and I missed it so much I just went ahead and replaced it, right? Like, I'm just like, no, I gotta have it. Like, I don't care if it's expensive. And I already have so many bangers kicking around, right? And that was the thing that I thought about. I'm like, I have like probably 10 different options when it comes to a 25 or a 24 millimeter quartz banger. But I went and I replaced the titty banger, and that's the one I use all the time. So, yeah. Oh, yeah, Simrel's hard to get right now. Yeah, that's an interesting piece. You can tell there's a lot of engineering in that piece, that's for sure, in the Simrel titanium. You know, you only need a dab or two. Secret squirrel. Too funny. These filters are on fire right now. Oh, because of the word titty. Oh, that's a tight filter, isn't it? All right, what should we do? Should we have a Roscoe? All right, let's have a Roscoe. You know what? Let's use a Tempest too. Let's do that. We've been talking about it. Let's do it. Oh my goodness. I love when you can't do 3 taps in a row. Alright, let's... Alright, let's see in the chat. From starting cold, what's everybody's favorite method with the YLL Vape Induction Heater 3.0? What's your move when it's cold? What wattage for how long? Do you guys have a method? Let's see what you guys are, let's see what you're doing. You were still here, Carl. See you, Rob. Tabletop banger. Oops. I'm going to go 70 watts for 35 seconds. And I think I should probably be good for cold, starting from cold. What was the question? The question was, what's your secret recipe? Secret recipe, secret squirrel. What's your recipe for heating the Tempest 2 from cold with the induction heater? So I'm doing 35 seconds for at 70 watts, not worrying about the click. I'm thinking that should be good. We'll drop it in the bong and see. Cheers. No, I want more than that. Give that another 15 seconds. Is that right, Roscoe? Me too. Me too, hands down. I really like the Danny Punch with a torch. I think it's like, yeah, it's such a great way to use it. I definitely prefer it. Definitely #1 way. There we go. That's what we wanted. That's a thing. That's a... Hey, Dink Boy. That's a great thing about the Tempest 2. Once you get there, you're right where you want to be, right? It holds the heat quite nicely. I personally am not using the full bowl setting with this one. I would rather put less in it and, you know, just use it off of one good heat up and then just go through it and then change it up before I heat it again. I find I like the session far better if I don't reheat in between. Or like do a reheat on each load. should probably have another one. Yeah, let's have another one. Oops. I think we're going to see more and more of these portable ball vapes as time goes on. I think this is something that is definitely here to stay. And I think doing it right, like we're seeing with the Tempest 2, is a really good example of what's going to be possible with this, because this is very much like a really nice convection style experience in a very small form, which you can heat with a torch or the induction heater, but you can get a really big experience with this thing. Oh, I like walking it up like that. I don't mind underheating and continuing to heat. That's different than reheating. I just gave it 10 more seconds there. I might have another squirrel fact. Let me see if I have another squirrel fact. I have one more squirrel fact. Oof. What is my one more squirrel fact? Bears follow squirrels. During heavy nut season, I heard that. During heavy nut season, black bears may watch where squirrels are feeding because squirrels often locate the best food first. Think about that for a minute. You don't need to know where the food is. You just have to find the squirrels if you're a bear and you're onto the best food. That's brilliant, right? Dirty little bears, though, are taking advantage of the squirrels, right? Squirrels kind of get a bad rap out there, right? Their intelligence seems to be getting used by other species, pretty consistently. That's funny. All right, Paulo. Yeah, we're just getting ready to wrap up here. I'm a few minutes from having the definite last bowl. I can't even really comprehend too much now. I'm just about right at the end. Okay, I have one more for you, though, about squirrels, actually. You guys want to hear this one? Blue jays have been observed mocking... okay. No, I'm saying it wrong. Okay, so basically the goal here is blue jays can trick squirrels. Blue jays have been observed mimicking hawk calls. The squirrel hides, then the blue jay steals the food. Oh, man. See, another bum deal for the squirrels. A blue jay mimics a hawk call. That's crazy. I don't know if any of you are anywhere where there are blue jays. But blue jays have a pretty annoying sound to them, actually, I find. I'm in an area where there are a lot of species of birds. And blue jays are plentiful. And they have kind of this weird sound that they make. And it can almost annoy you. It catches me off guard quite a bit. And, yeah. Too funny. No idea. You know what? I'm having the same problem right now. I'm like, what am I even doing? What am I talking about while I'm talking? That's what happens by the end of a live stream here, right? Too funny. Man, the filters are on fire. Yeah, it's wild. It's just wild. All right, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna load up for the final Roscoe here. I think I have to. Yeah, I think I'm hitting the wall where I have to definitely hit the last one and wrap it up before it's too late. I'm gonna go titanium bowl, and we're gonna preheat this really good. Let's do that. Let's do that. Well, I know everybody has a weekend ahead. That's exciting, right? You gotta love weekends ahead. Yeah. This is the point right now where you still have the most weekend left. That's yeah. So much fun, right? Going into the weekend, good energy. This is a good way to kick it off. Or I guess kind of wrap up Friday night for a lot of people too, right? Yeah. So much fun. I find it's in a traditional kind of work week, I find Friday night's kind of the harder night to want to get motivated to go out and do stuff. Staying at home and having a good sesh or a couple of drinks or whatever your thing is, and kind of relaxing and letting go and cutting loose in that controlled environment seems so much more comfortable on Friday night. And Saturday feels like, yeah, I got more energy to do that, right, than you did on Friday. So yeah, so much fun. It's a great way to kick it off. All right, let's get some dry herb ready to throw in here. Oops. Oh, that's hot. See, this is why this is the last Roscoe for me right there. I'm touching the bowl with my knuckle right after I heat it. All right, this one's going to be a big rip. You guys ready? All right. Yeah, happy weekend. Exactly. Thanks, everybody, for being here. I have had so much fun today. This has been an absolute blast. I've been laughing the whole time. What a great vibe. Fun conversations. I've really, truly appreciated everybody for taking the time out of their schedule to be here and do this and add to it. All right, I got to rip this. Cheers. Yeah, that was everything I wanted it to be right there. Oh, holy smokes. Oh, that was a good one. All right, my friends. Hopefully we will catch you next week. If your schedule will permit, then that would be awesome. But thank you very much. I appreciate you being here and for all the energy that you put into tonight.